Is very cruel, soulless.
Hot point like sex, drugs, alcoholics.
Monogamy, it's a good life hack against this dopamine crash.
Okay, I just put my virtual glasses and we'll be in a better world without wars, without diseases or something like that.
The simple answer how to deal with all these biases is to use your brain.
But it's a weird balance because we always want new stuff, but when it happens, we always want something that we're used to.
The level of unpredictability in our world is so high that it's quite difficult to tolerate.
Welcome to the Future of Wellness podcast, where we dive deep into the evolving landscape of health, technology, and human potential. And we're your hosts, Alexander
and Kasia. And in each episode, we will explore how cutting-edge innovations are shaping the way we live, work, and take care of ourselves.
From biohacking breakthroughs to the future of mental health and sustainable well-being, we'll be joined by visionary thinkers who are redefining wellness for the modern world.
Stay tuned as we uncover the trends and insights that will inspire you to thrive in the years ahead.
And now, over to the chat. Can you actually tell us more about dopamine? So can it actually be a good thing and a bad thing just about how you think about it or how it works?
Yeah, dopamine is probably one of the most popular and not proper understand topic.
Why? I think we're chatting about this all the time. Why?
Because dopamine is something definitely good. Yes, and people discuss, they strive for dopamine, they strive more dopamine, they work how to stimulate more dopamine and so on. And some all other guys like acetylcholine, like serotonin, they're in the shadow of dopamine, not so popular. But in fact, dopamine is very cruel, soulless neurotransmitter.
Cruel.
And that is like, don't any jokes, don't joke with dopamine, guys, because it's very serious thing that can really kill people and waste their life.
How so? Do you get used to it or something?
Let's compare. Like dopamine, it's like a tool. For example, it's the same power that drives alcoholics in the morning to find one more shot, and the same power that drives a creator or businessman to wake up early in the morning to continue to work on his project. It's absolutely the same power, the same dopamine.
Awful.
No way. It doesn't feel right, but what you're saying is correct. Okay.
But I just want to mention about this tricky dopamine and cruel dopamine that just a few days ago I returned from holidays from Italy and I just met with my family, which I a long time no see. And just now I have, that gap, like it was like that. Very, very high level of dopamine, and now I just somewhere like in the middle of depression. And just, oh my gosh, in my life everything is okay, but what happened now? I just can't do nothing. And I want to live in Italy with my family. What the fuck? Sorry. Hey, dopamine, please, working.
Yeah, it's a very common story. For example, many people like when we talk about sex, and here there is also a common story like about post-coital blues. I mean, like drop of mood after sex, and many people suffer from it or why people smoke after sex, because they feel this drop and want to compensate. Some people eat, some people smoke. It depends. It's up to you.
Something
and sleep. Someone is sleep.
Or sleep. Sleep is the best story. Because, for example, after a very high peak, spike, we have this also drop. And this drop sometimes is very uncomfortable and creates this like a very bad feeling.
Yeah, but it's normally, it's just a normal way to just be in this mood and just, okay, now I have just the strike about loud dopamine, but I should be here. So everything is okay, yeah?
In normal relationships, there is another source of dopamine through oxytocin. If you have a good relationship, you like enjoy each other, you have a valid, true, long-term relationship. After sex, we have increase in oxytocin, like hugs hormone, and it prevents dopamine from going down too deep. and we have this smooth curve leading you to a deep sleep with full restoration.
So you basically biohack with your own
Yeah.
stuff that
Yeah,
happens
so
in your
it's
body.
a biohack that monogamy, it's a good life hack against this dopamine crash.
Oh, we have a title for all of
Perfect.
this.
Yeah. You know this very famous, this Coolidge effect? Yeah. You know the story. It's also about novelty and dopamine, because from the point of view of our dopaminergic system, everything new is better that you have.
Okay.
Like without details. It's also kind of trap that is common for technology development, for everything else, for human development. Let's try something new because we unconsciously believe that something new will be definitely better than old techniques or old practices that we have. And that is also a kind of distortion in our brain that we should to be aware of.
But it's a weird balance because we always want new stuff, but when it happens, we always want something that we're used to, which is always a weird thing that happens.
Yeah, but the simple answer how to deal with all these biases is to use your brain. Without like false dilemmas, which is best. For example, old or new ones, we should ask proper question, which works best from the scientific point of view. For example, we can run experiment, collect data, and understand from the scientific point without reaction on our inherited biases or perception distortions and so on.
But this can get weird sometimes because sometimes you know that something is right long term, and you know that science backs it up and it's all good, but still emotionally you want to do a different thing. So how do you fight that?
Yeah, it's a very good question about temporal discounting.
Yeah.
Like economists or future discounting. It's depend on your mindset, on your horizon of planning. It can differ. For example, alcoholics plan to the next bottle. Yeah, drug addict plan to the next, to the next pill. Or many people live from one salary to another salary. They have like 30 days is horizon planning. Some people live from 5 years.
And dopamine
and many
businessmen
of them
just
in
live
terms
from
of
one cell to
generations.
another.
Yeah, it was a good quotation about that healthy society is when an old man plant trees, knowing that he wouldn't have a rest in their shadow. It's for a new generation. And that's create really, really beneficial, safe, horizon of planning. Because from the conservative, for example, point of view, like one of my favorite philosophers like Roger Scruton from Britain, by the way, I like this quotation that healthy society is society of dead, living, and unborn. And that's a consensus that include interest of all three kinds of people. And that is the most healthy and sustainable society. When we respect the interest of our ancestors, of our culture, of our background, when we understand interest of living people, and of course interest of unborn. I mean, it's about ecological consequences of our activity. It's about safety and all other issues that we will definitely face in the future. So many of us act like ostrich, trying to hide our heads in the sand, but our asses are stay unprotected.
I hope one day we will have a world like that, definitely like that. But now, just guys, I just totally like our discussion with just hot point like sex, drugs, alcoholics.
Mentioned everything. We can get it up right now. Yeah.
Climate change.
Yeah, just let me pick you up just two steps before. Andrew, can you just describe to us and to our auditory something about yourself, just in a few words? Who are you? You're interested, not interested, who are you working, and your area of interest and something like that. Just to know you more.
I want to start from my age of 10 years old.
Okay, that's quite a period. Okay.
I got as a present a microscope and start walking around with almost scientific research of everything. And from childhood, I like to solve different mysteries or challenges, scientific or in school or something else. And I don't have a particular field of interest. For example, I was on Olympiads, school Olympiads on physics and in biology and in math. But human is the biggest mystery, of course. And my main motivation for medical university was like desire to solve different tasks, because like as doctors say that each disease is experiment conducted by the nature. So we can understand each patient as a mystery, as a possibility to understand human's nature deeper. And it works, because even nowadays, each new patient, each new client is always a possibility to learn something new. And many clients, they educate you even better than your interest and curiosity, because you have to solve this task. You have to understand how to change behavior of this person. You need to get this deep understanding: what motivates, what's important, what are the hidden obstacles in this behavior, why you can't help him to overcome this gap between intention and action. Yeah, like the main challenge in behavioral medicine, and all other mysteries. It's really very dopaminic, ergic for me to solve these challenges, because you feel like, yeah, I got it. Because you feel this high of solving this task and feeling this pride and interest, because it was really cool.
Oh, so humankind and their brain is just most mysterious and interesting thing for you. So, if we're getting right.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
And given that, if we would still ask you for a short description of what you do daily and professionally, what would your intro be about yourself?
I'm trying to decrease total amount of suffering in our world and make it healthier in all dimensions, like in one sentence.
Right. And can you give us a few examples of what you do to make it happen?
For example, I have my educational courses. Most of them are free in YouTube. I wrote 2 books, and some of them also free or almost free. I read, like, I have my blogs and trying to write posts on all actual topics, and with life hacks, with ideas. And of course, I work in IT, helping to create applications, to apply my approach for like hundreds of thousands of users.
So you are a medical advisor at Palta, am I correct?
Now in Simple, mostly. It's part of Palta portfolio, yeah.
So let's describe what is Palta and what is Simple, just to make sure that everyone gets it, not just us.
Like, Palta is investing company, funding company, and it has some like companies that each company develop a certain product. For example, like Simple is coach tracking, helping with nutrition, like Zinc for fitness, and so on.
So, as I know, Palta is founding a lot of companies in health industries, mostly wellness industries. Like, you may know it from Flow, for example, the most popular app out there for period tracking. But talking about Simple, so you're a medical advisor for Simple. Can you tell us what that means daily? Because I understand that you suggest something for the company, what they should and shouldn't do in like medical things, I think so, for the app. But in terms of more daily things, what do you do daily?
About what I'm doing right now. Now I work on developing system of insights, how to use users' login and data for motivation, to generate insights, restitution. You know, for example, sometimes you should do a lot of work analyzing your data, even your nutritional logs. What does it mean? Why I choose this after this? How this product influence my body weight change? And this system will help you to analyze all the data without cognitive fatigue, highlighting some insights. For example, don't worry about your morning body weight increase. It's because you ate a lot of salt yesterday. because salt causes water retention, so don't worry about this. Sometimes worry about this because it's really not very healthy situation. Or, for example, pay attention that, for example, that you snack more after sleep with bad quality, a lot of awakening, for example. And you know that we should understand that there is some common facts that people all know. That's one story. Another story is a user's own data, personal data. And this personal data has much more high influence for users' behavior because it's my own, it's based on me, it works for me. For example, many men know that obesity influences testosterone level, yeah? Yeah, it's...
That's a common knowledge, of course.
All people know about it, but this common knowledge doesn't affect their behavior. But there is a simple life hack, because many wives ask, Andrew, what to do with my husband? He's obese, but he don't want to change his diet. I say, don't worry, we have one life hack. Ask him to go to any lab, and pass only one test, blood test. Testosterone level.
Get the personal results, and this helps,
testosterone
really.
level. And when man get his result, highlight with red.
Right.
Very red testosterone line. Oh my God, my masculinity is under the thread. It's
danger.
Really very important. So I mean, we don't any convention, long dialogues, long a lot of words. Just one blood test taken by him own in any lab. It couldn't be falsified. I mean, like it's up to the client.
To me,
you see.
To me, it sounds like a perfect kickstart when you want to learn something about yourself, just to make it easier from what I understand and from what I do daily. But does it work like long term? Because if you always, if you don't always research the topic yourself, I think it can be quite dangerous to, I think, rely on someone else to give you personal results all the time, or it works on different levels and it can be a good long-term solution.
I mean, trust is higher when this data is like absolutely valid, like this blood test that cannot be falsified, that can he pass in any lab, so it's very easy. And all this data is based on, for example, in his activity, in his logs. It's his own data, and idea is to transform this passive data that is stored without any use into actionable insight, motivation, advices, and so on. Because all people are different, and you don't know, for example, this life hack with testosterone work for one person because it's connected with their identity. For another group or for another age, it can be something other motivational. Because all people differs, and we can overeat also because of different problems. Sometimes it can be emotional. Sometimes it can be, like mindless snacking because of obesogenic environment. I sit, I eat. Like, this these dogs that see diet for doctors, it's not eat everything what you see. It's seaweed and fish. Do not confuse. There's a lot of different groups, and users' data can help to understand its own niche, its own things what to do.
And we actually rely on the apps a lot nowadays to do a lot of stuff, including health stuff and wellness stuff. But I think there is one important question about the balance of when you should go to an actual medical professional to give you the advice on anything health related. What is the balance nowadays? Because I think I understand that VCs always strive to make everything work on the apps, and then we'll deal with something that happens later on. But what is your thoughts as a medical advisor, medical professional on this? What should the app builders nowadays think about the boundaries of what the apps should do and should advise, and when they should hand it over to the professionals? Because I think there is a really delicate balance that needs to happen.
There are two sides in this question. First of all, it's we have a lot of weird advices because really competition and marketing, they attract attention for the most weirdest ideas. For example, like keto, eat only fat, carnivore, eat only protein, alcohol, drink only ethanol, and so on. A lot of weird ideas. But the fact that common truths and basic rules are quite simple, extremely simple. For 99% of people, they will work well enough to help them lose weight. The main problem is accountability, this social pressure, this consistency. For example, how to check your diet for consistency, also very important questions that I ask my clients. So he or she have a diet plan, and I ask a question. What do you think, or estimate the possibility of following this plan for 5 years? What is your feeling, like initial feeling? What is your emotion? Oh, it's impossible. Step back. Again, it's impossible. Step back. Probably for 5 years, it's look not a so horrible idea. Probably I can do it. Okay, that's enough. I mean, because we have this weird balance between it's too simple and boring, and oh, it's amazing and cool, but it's very hard for a long time. And idea how to balance two contradictory ideas, how to make it very simple and integrate into daily life based on consistency, and save attractiveness of this idea, this vision of future, brilliant, because some small steps, the problem of small steps, they're quite discouraging. Oh, for example, 1 kilo for 3 months is moving small, and clients, oh, it's, oh, no. I have no motivation for such small steps. And all this stuff, behavioral, should be balanced and implemented in apps, first of all. They should act as coaches used daily, and it's much cheaper, for example, than real life coaches. And I think that modern apps, they don't use enough tools from behavioral change. I mean, this pressure should be much higher.
Even harder. With
Yeah.
those guilty notifications.
It should be like changing tone of voice, changing wording, to adapt, to find points to convince this user. Because people usually pay for this pressure, social pressure, coach pressure.
No.
That's like daily, like someone standing behind your back and you hear it's breathing. I know what you add.
I just want to ask additional question about this pressure. So, Andrew, how do you think now our society just have relationship more with the apps, with the social networks and something like that, and just always trying to self-diagnose about something, or I have ADHD, depression, or something like that. But it's a big problem now because the real diagnosis or something like that. It's better to just check on with real professionals. I mean, real therapists, real coaches, and something like that. Because now it's a big trend when people just even going to me like as a coach and said, "Okay, I have depression, but have you checked with a psychotherapist?" No, I just read a book or read a test. Self-diagnosis, it's really necessary thing, but just like I don't know, did you watch a movie Her with this app where the woman just trying to be in relative with a man? It's a perfect movie, Her, so auditory, just watch it. But it's awful because in one day it just can disappear, or just some new program it's not uploaded. It's just people like saying, oh my gosh, now what I should do. So how we can track that balance between apps, between self-diagnosis with real relationships and with real checks about our health and something like that, because now we have a big trends, really big trends, especially in American tech area. Like now we have apps, these things, we will check our blood condition, air condition, and blah blah blah, but some real, I mean, just kinetic reality just staying in the background.
Yeah, good question. I think we have two streams. First of all, it's medicalization of everything. And medicalization has some hidden benefits. For example, if it's a diagnosis, you can earn on treatment on devices, selling pills, and so on. If it's official depression or other diseases. The next point is medicalization. It's like a label. You can explain with this label everything. Oh, it's because of my depression. Oh, it's like so on. It's very simple. I don't like such labeling. Labels make sense only when they add additional like sense or meaning. And there are some setting criteria for all diseases, diagnostic criteria, and they're quite, they're quite strict. For example, in example with depression, it's really several criteria. Low mood, for example, for every day for 3 months at least.
Yeah.
And the question, do you have some days for your last 3 months with good mood? Yes, I have. It's not depression, for example. And so on. It's a strict criteria. And most of people, they just pay not enough attention, focusing on like medical criteria of certain conditions. Another point of view is like most of modern diseases, they are diseases of civilization or lifestyle diseases. It means that there is no such a disease per se, like without certain context or without certain user. Infectious diseases, yeah, it's absolutely another story. Or you broke your leg. It's like, not depends on you, it's like a typical disease that should be treated by a certain scenario and so on, and certain rules. But lifestyle diseases, they are quite personal because it's your own lifestyle. You have a lot of factors, different factors that influence your disease, that increase risk of this disease. And such factors can be modified or unmodified. And it's quite difficult to understand all factors and their cumulative effect for your health. For example, depression. Depression depends on the amount of sunlight, yeah, because it's in the serotonin level, your sleep quality, your social connections, your physical activity, and all these factors is very difficult to deal with. You can't prescribe a pill to increase your physical activity or prescribe a pill like in sunlight, yeah. Vitamin D, yes, but vitamin D is only one of 10 molecules that are generated by ultraviolet light, because it's only one of 10, but it's the most popular, it's a superstar. There are also many other molecules that are very important, and serotonin, for example, that are generated by the influence of sunlight, but yeah, we know only vitamin D. It can be prescribed, all of them. And there is a dilemma, what to do with like all this stuff. Because run a coach or prescribe a coach, it will be very, very expensive for healthcare system. But drug is the cheapest solution. For example, the same problem with chronic pain in the USA. You know, this opioid disaster, yeah? When people ask for painkillers, regular painkillers not enough because we have resistance. If you don't, for example, if you don't deal with your chronic pain, yeah, or without host, and they should to increase this threshold up to opioids. And opioids, you know, they're very tough guys. And for many people, even one course is enough to get full-scale addiction.
Oh.
Full-scale addiction.
Wow.
And this is desired to help using only pills lead to this like opioid disaster, and like 100,000 of people now are addicts because of this desire to help.
If you haven't watched Dopesick, I really recommend those series to both you and our listeners and those who are watching the video version of this. It's a really wonderful series from HBO, I think, about different sides of the dopamine addiction, not dopamine, OxyContin addiction in the US, but this is funny. They have shared the story about creating the OxyContin, which has driven this problem in the US, but they also have shared the stories about doctors getting addicted as well, because they have easier access to the pills and real patient stuff. So I really would recommend this one to see what wrong decisions can make happen.
Yeah, but formally, like logically, it can sometimes logical explanation is not enough, because like logically, if you have pain, we should give you painkiller. Who's against it? Sounds very logical, but without understanding reasons of chronic pain, like lifestyle of patients and so on, it's can cause a big trouble. And you know, in medicine, I'm quite skeptical to like new treatments, because in the history of medicine, a lot of like crazy examples when sometimes we need more time to understand all side effects. For example, Nobel Prize was given for lobotomy to cure depression. It's only one example. Or if you have, for example, enlarged glands, sometimes using X-ray, like imagine, to kill all immune cells, and you have no enlarged glands because all of them distracted by X-ray. What about side effects in years? Nobody care about it.
Like always. So.
But long-term and side effects, it's a very actual story. For example, now semaglutide, or Ozempic.
Oh, Ozempic, yeah, just on trends.
Yeah, but dopamine is also closely connected to this topic, because Ozempic per se is anti-desire drug. The main target of dopamine is hitting ghrelin receptor also, and ghrelin, like appetite is also like appetite for life.
Oh,
there
okay.
is no,
so
like,
not only you don't want to eat food, you don't want to eat enjoying your life.
Yeah, I mean, like this impulse, this desire to enjoy something, to get pleasure, it's one sentient brain for all behavioral stuff. For example, like desire to be better person, desire to create something outstanding, desire to have a tasty dinner. It's absolutely the same target. And we see that there are a lot of talks about suicidal intentions and suicides and depression in Ozempic, because, it's discussed, because current study showed like 50% increase in suicidal intention.
Oh my gosh,
it's quite a big number.
Yeah, it's a huge.
And all previous drugs, by the way, like superstars that will treat obesity, they were rejected from the market by the same reason. For example, I miss this name, but 10 or 15 years ago was a superstar that blocked endocannabinoid receptors. Like the same story. Another target, but the same principle. Block pleasure from eating. It reduced smoking, drug consumption, all this stuff. But the only side effect is depression and suicides.
How positive our topic. So, but Andrew, if we are looking ahead, what is your vision for the future of wellness? So, how it should what topics we should discuss more and more and more, and what we should contribute to that vision?
I think future is mental issues should be at the top of interest. And because we have a lot of possibilities we have access to high quality food, to all possibilities for movement, for everything, but it's not enough. The next step, of course, is mental issues, because we see depressions, anxiety are rising, and rate of increase of all mental issues is much higher than physical diseases. And the level of unpredictability in our world is so high that it's quite difficult to tolerate. And this is cognitive load, this unpredictability, this, of course, require a lot of mental reforms, leading to mental fatigue and our mental regress. And sometimes what we see is also kind of mental regress, like infantilization, because this very emotional, very demonstrative behavior, appealing only to emotions, like this egoism, like only I'm important, is everything that is fit for 5-year kid. It's like a stage of development, only I have a meaning, Yeah, the world doesn't matter. If I feel this, it's true. You mean this famous concept for post-truth?
Yeah, yeah.
It looks too difficult because it's very common against kids, like magical thinking, and in primitive tribes, because your emotion, it's like the only validation that you need. If you feel that it's true, it's true. If you feel it's wrong, it means it's wrong. And sometimes objective reality doesn't have any meaning, because the main reality is my imagination, is my virtual reality. I live here. I don't live in the real world with all the difficulties and all this stuff. And that is a big escape from unpleasant reality into like fantasies, like
Social
positive
media.
thinking and so on. Social media,
Yeah.
of course, is escape, because social media has many common points with food or with drugs, because it's create virtual reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you like the most. And one of the most distinctive features of addictions is escape from reality. It's the common feature of behavioral drugs, of like chemical drugs and so on. Escape. Reality is not good enough for us. Virtual world is better.
Yeah.
And we want to run from it.
And now, Andrew, sorry, I just interrupt you, but now it's a trend. All this gamification and something like that, like, okay, I just put my virtual glasses and we'll be in a better world without wars, without diseases or something like that, and maybe just sit in my comfortable area and even don't go to the shops, so I will have Uber eating or something like that.
Yeah, let me explain. It's quite simple in a few words. Like, you know that we have two main guys. It's serotonin, yeah, and dopamine. How they act? Serotonin is everything around what you can touch, and oxytocin, for example. It's like here and now neurotransmitters and hormones. You can touch it. You can hug someone. It's your social status, for example, your perception, your talk with friend, your eye-to-eye contact. That is serotonin. How you feel right now. And dopamine is something distant to you, distant in time, distant in, I don't know, for example, impossible to assess it because too expensive, for example. Yeah, it's also like dopamine. It's distance. And dopamine, it works when you feel this motivation to read something that is distant to you. And how it works? It's like a balance. If you feel bad right now, if you feel low, you have low serotonin, you have high impulsivity and desire to escape from unpleasant reality. And it works in the opposite too. If you feel good right now, you don't have these all impulses and desire to escape current moment. And for example, this all religious, all like psychological techniques, they focus on be here and now, like meditation in Buddhism. Yeah, like focus on your breathing, accept current moment, do not resist this reality. All these techniques that about this neurobiological dilemma, to be right now or escape reality to the future or to the past, it doesn't matter. And I mean, being here and now, it's a real one of the most important skills that should be taught and should be developed, because you can't enjoy, you can't do something with reality, you can't improve your world around if you deal with your fantasies about past or future.
It's
That's
most
the
hard.
perfect
It's most hard skill now. Really.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and listen, it's only like level 1. The highest level, it's from Stoics, or their maxima, it's amor fati. Yeah, love your destiny. Not only accept reality, but the highest level, love everything that
Love
happens
what
with you.
life brings to you.
Oh my gosh, it's
All
so
those
hard.
lemons.
So where is the pills?
Yeah.
Where is the pills, guys?
And actually,
Yeah.
and actually, talking about the future of wellness, the interesting question is that you have brought lots of the traditional academic medicine approaches, and you have also mentioned the alternative therapies. And I think when we're talking about the future of wellness, it's a good question if we are going to see something integrated, where we use something from best from both worlds. What is your view on using both traditional medical approaches and more holistic approaches? Because sometimes they're not joining each other, just running in parallel. But from what I can hear from you, there is a lot of stuff that we can use from both things, not to overuse one of them, and actually try to use both, best of both worlds. But what is your view on that?
I think that this distinction is false, mostly, because we have only one true division. It works or it not works. As a doctor, for example, we have some results or we don't have any results. And the only approach that can help us to get proper answers is like experiments. It's like a science. It's a special blind randomized experiments with proper design. And that is the only answer, that is only technique that can help us to understand. Because, sometimes even in modern science, a lot of drugs, for example, spent like millions of dollars and they failed. Theoretically, everything was perfect. But in real life experiment, for example, especially, this against Alzheimer, like dozens of drugs, like billions of dollars, just everything failed. No results. And that is a true criteria. It doesn't matter is it looks scientific or isn't look suspicious. We should have open mind and say, hey, we can just test it. Let's test it without any biases or it can't work. It can't. We just have real life as a field experiment. And I believe that everything in human activity should be based on scientific approach, especially politics.
Oh.
Because, like far right, far left, left, right, it's like something about beliefs, not about reality. In reality, we can say, hey, guys, okay, of course, you can think or you can feel that that's right, but it's not enough, because sometimes addicts also feel that this cocaine is right for him. Yeah? Your inner feeling doesn't explain this reality. It can be a kind of distortion. Let's run experiment. Okay? Let's choose, this is control town, this is experimental town. About taxes, about like, I don't know, any positions, about elections and all this stuff. It should be without any ideological issues, checked by real life experiments. Because theoretical background is not enough. You see, for example, in pharmacology and medicine, a lot of theoretically perfect things failed in real life tests. So the same story, or like car crash. Yeah? We can believe manufacturers that this car is very great, but let's run this car and let's check it. That's my boy. That's experimental approach.
I don't want to stop this this conversation because it's so interesting, but unfortunately we should too.
Yeah, but I think I just have one last question from me. I just want to ask about the behavioral changes. So as we know, you are the founder of Rewell Me app, and I wanted to ask you in specifics of how do you think the apps and the tech, the AI nowadays will help to shape the behavioral change that we need for the future of wellness. Maybe you can give some examples from your own app and why you have built it.
Yeah, Rewell Me, it's my, how to say, like amateur approach to test visuals in comparison with words. Because, I face this problem in depressions, for example. When you read some texts or advices, there's a problem. In depression or anxiety, your prefrontal cortex is weakened and it can't generate this vision of future, or it can't generate emotions from this text description. And in many studies, images work better than words. For example, to see something, to create the therapeutic metaphor, is like this very bright and clear visual. And visuals and pictures are processed faster they evoke more emotions, and they stay in memory much longer than like texts. And this is combination of images or a comparison or metaphors. It's very popular, for example, in Buddhism or in Christianity. Also, there are no like theoretical frameworks. It's usually a metaphor. For example, you're a vessel. You can be filled by even a drop of like good deeds or bad deeds. It's a visual metaphor that enhance and isn't understanding all of difficult stuff. And I believe that working mostly with images can overcome these problems and get results faster.
I think this is the perfect answer. I think I have no more questions left. Kate, what about you?
Yeah, me too. Just sorry for just muting me, not just you hear some clicking or something like that. I'm totally, total interested to all these topics that we mentioned, and just really don't want to stop, but I hope we should.
We have to.
Yeah, because, no one just...
All right.
Let's continue on conference, yeah?
Sure thing.
Oh, it's a hot point.
See you there.
Yeah.